Hello. I hope you're having a great day. My name is Steve Kalem, and I'm a senior mortgage banker with US Bank. And I've been in the industry for over 30 years, and I've seen a lot of things. But I've never seen a situation like we currently have in today's market. That is a scenario where high interest rates coupled with a low inventory of homes is impacting both the affordability of purchasing a home for the buyer and it's impacting the marketability of the home, the sale of the home for the best bottom line for the seller. In this kind of unusual market, it's very, very beneficial for both sellers and buyers to think outside the box to consider the best way to sell their home or to buy the home. And to that end, I'd like to illustrate a simple seller credit towards the buyer's interest rate to minimize their interest rate and at the same time maximize the seller's bottom line. So let me share my screen. I want to show both sides of this because it's so powerful from both sides and it's a collaboration. Both teams win. So here first the seller side. This is an illustration of a listing of $1.5 million. I've got 4 vertical columns and the first column is the listing, $1.5 million. I put the numbers in here, really doesn't matter, but I'm showing the standard transaction is $1.2 million, is 20% down, so $1.2 million loan, the interest rate, the monthly payment, including taxes and insurance, and the cash needed to close on that. Now, column 2 represents the typical way that this contract is ratified, which is negotiating the price and the list price back and forth, and hopefully come to an agreeable price. In this case, I've put that price at 95% of the list price. I think that's an acceptable amount in today's market for most sellers. Homes are actually selling between 95 and 97% of the list price. And these are non-competitive situations, so they're not going up and over the list price. But most sellers would accept the 95%. And what that translates to is in blue there, column 2, that the seller would sell the home for $1,425,000 and bottom line to the seller, $75,000 less in profit to them. Now, if instead of negotiating on the price, either they negotiated or somewhere inputted that the seller, column 3, would pay down the buyer's interest rate 2% to 4 7/8 from 6 7/8. If they paid that money down, it would allow the seller to net more on the bottom line, and it would benefit the buyer incredibly. Let's take a look at that. If the seller paid down the interest rate for the buyer to 4 7/8, it would cost them $29,000. Therefore, the seller would be netting $1,471,000. I think it says 77 there. It should be $1,471,000. Bottom line is that they're netting about $46,000 to $50,000 more than the negotiated price at 95%. So the seller is very happy. How does this impact the buyer? Go down. You see where the payment is actually over $1,500 less every month for the buyer for the first year. And the cash to close is the same as in the list price. It's an incredible savings though monthly. In fact, it's such an incredible savings that if you look at it and translate that into today's market, where people are looking at homes in a regular, non-exclusive financing situation, you see that column 4, that's the payment that one would pay for 20% down on a $1,215,000 home. That's the same payment as a home that's $285,000 lower in price. So right there, if you're the seller, you've increased the population of people that can look at your property. You've made an incredible benefit for the buyers. They're buying, in this example, a $1.5 million home for the cost of a monthly cost of a $1,215,000 home. It's amazing. But let's go a little further and see the other side of this, and let's see how that impacts the buyer. It's even more powerful, and let's walk through that how that works. So sharing this screen now. Same chart, column 3. You see that the seller has paid that money, and it doesn't cost the buyer anything extra in cash to close, but their first year, they're in blue, their mortgage payment would be at 4 7/8, and the second year would be at 5 7/8. The combination of those 2 years creates a savings in monthly payment for the buyer of over $27,000. $27,000 is broken down to $18,000 plus the first year and almost $9,200 the second year. Okay, that gives the buyer 2 years to navigate our current scenario. 9 out of 9 economists believe that the interest rates will be lower in the next 6 to 24 months for sure. The reason that interest rates are high now is because the Fed's fight to keep inflation under check. And we're at the end of that cycle now. The Fed has said that they may have one more hike left in them, but maybe not, and then the rates will be coming down. In any case, this gives the buyer that time to navigate that time frame. And the benefit doesn't just stop there. In this situation, we're showing that it's saving $27,000 over 2 years. If the buyer would end up refinancing the home, and we would refinance it at no cost for them, but if they do refinance it, the amount left in that $27,500 kitty that was not used would come back to the buyer. It's not use it or lose it. It would reduce the loan amount at the end of the day. So the buyer is getting a reduced purchase price if, in fact, they end up refinancing. It comes off the loan amount. I'm going to stop the share, and I'm back here again. I hope this is helpful for you to open up your mind as to some of the possibilities that can be done. There's other things. Now, this strategy works best either as part of the marketing of the home from the get-go. I'm happy to do a video to show exclusive financing, or input it in the negotiation process when maybe there's an impasse, or when the seller wants to show that they'll accommodate the buyer and give them maybe even a better monthly payment, lower cash to close, but they're going to keep their price. So there's just another way of skinning the cat and putting the transaction together where everybody really wins. Let me know if there's questions. I appreciate you watching and listening, and I'm happy to customize this for any scenario. Thanks again. Hope you have a great day.